I'd like to go to the board just a second and go into the game plan just a little bit. In the first place, LSU is what we call a black formation. In fact, formation to us is a true I with two wide men and an I formation here. But they line up in that very seldom, particularly against a team like us who like to have a strong side end, a weak side end, a strong side linebacker, a strong safety, and so forth. So what they normally do, or were doing against us, is the same plan looked like they had against Mississippi that I saw them at Jackson. And they line up, sometimes they have two tight ends, most of the time they just have one, and line up what we call a weak formation. An I formation here with the extra back here toward the split end. Well, occasionally they would go ahead and run from this formation. And they did a good job of it. They utilized him as a blocker over here. And then sometimes they'd come back this way and just let him go in the opposite direction, or could throw back to him. But most of the time they would put him in motion, bring him across between the fullback and the tailback, occasionally in front, but giving him what standard I formation. And but it's making you change your defense around back there, or your personnel. And then occasionally they would come out with two tight ends, or the end may be split, what we call a W formation. Have the I formation here and a man over on this side. They may run from that. Normally speaking, they would on the goal line a real short yardage. Or they may again put him in motion back here, and it'd give you a straight I with two tight ends with a flanker back. And then occasionally they give you all the looks they are. Charlie Mack, I thought, first of all, I thought they had an excellent plan, and LSU played a fine football game too. And I know they were heartbroken they didn't win. And like all of Charlie Mack's teams, they put an awful lot into it. You'll see they hit hard, and they had a good plan too. But occasionally they'd be in what we call a brown formation, two wide men, the split in and the flanker back out here, and have the extra back over here where you get out quicker on passes, or they can flood a zone with three out. They hurt us on that one time badly, I know, and maybe a couple of times. And on back here too, occasionally, I don't know whether they did it the other night or not, they have him over on this side, see, that gives them a strong side here, and we call that a blue formation. But it just gives you a little different problems where you got to move a little bit or adjust to it, and they normally shift into it. Now defensively, you'll see in the film, it looks like they're playing a nine-man line most of the time, and they played an odd defense most of the time. Occasionally they'd play an even, but in any event, the same as in here, there'd be a man over all five of our center people, all five of our middle people here, and they may stunt these two men, for instance, bring him down inside, bring him out, but they have a man over every one. And that's what we expected, what we want, of course. And then our whole plan of attack is to, with our fullback and then five people, or with our counterback, to make them, if we can take them up, then our quarterback can take care of one of the three, our blocking back the other, and our end the other on the corners. And if they come up there so tight that we can't handle it that way, well then of course we have to throw, which they did. Normally speaking, on our strong side, they'd have their cornerback way up here real close, and depending on whether the sideline or not, they'd have this back all the way from over our guard, or tackle to in here, their safety, and they would do different things. They'd bring this man upfield, bring this man upfield, and let the safety level off. Or they do what we call a Bruin stunt. They start this man and bring him out here, to take the pitch man and bring him on the inside to give you problems here. And occasionally, they bring him and bring him also and just kind of guess with you, wish that's what happened on George Pugh's pass you'll see in a little bit. On the side toward our split in, normally speaking, they'd have a cornerback out here and a safety out pretty wide to where he could help out on the Wheeler and the sharpest and our split people. And most of the time they'd bring him out to take the pitch man and bring him underneath, as we call it, to take the quarterback and let him cover him. Or occasionally they would, well, occasionally they would just run him right up on this corner man on our end and drop this man back here and figure on him making the quarterback pitch and him coming here, but what they're really doing is double covering Wheeler. And anyway, they had a good, but what they were trying to do was make it difficult for us to recognize on the corners who we had to block, and they did a real good job of it. On Wheeler, on the touchdown pass, going to our right, up to our right, too, from the sideline, Gary Rutledge, I thought, did a real fine job, all of them as far as that goes, because they fired out and made it look like run. And what really happened, he faked the full ball to the fullback and rode him and come back, Ransom Billings and went here to block this man, and Wilbur Jackson came around to block him. And when I was watching from the bench to see what this would do, we knew we were going to hit him with the outcut there behind the halfback if he played before the Dyer, and we were going to see if we figured he'd have to jump on him, he'd be coming, and that George would beat him. But what really happened, and you see in the film, he came out here, and this man came inside, and when Gary set up, dude started to make his break, and he's just by himself, and he just turned and ran, and Gary did an excellent job of getting the ball loose and hitting him, because it was all he had to do is get the ball to George, because he had real fine speed. And but it was 3 men right in his mustache when he threw it, I'll tell you that. So anyway, Charlie's giving me some signals there. Well, Wayne Wheeler's touchdown, it was a long one too. This man from over on this side, well anyway, we ran the veer to this side, and Jackson blocking in here, and Willoughby Billingsley coming around. And this particular time, they brought this man in here, the safety here, and had one-on-one on Wayne. And Wayne was going to run, I think, a Z out. And when Jerry set up, and Wayne broke away from, I think his man tripped over him or something. Well, this man from this side had gotten loose and was just about to get to Gary. But he, of course, laid the ball out there, and Wayne had to just wait on it slightly, but took off for the touchdown, and it was something beautiful to behold. And, of course, I got a little ahead of myself. I should have said on the first touchdown, on Gary Rutledge's touchdown, who Gary, of course, played a great game. They all did. He faked the outside handoff, and these people all blocked down to seal this off inside, and Billings comes at the half the end and hit him from the outside, and Gary pulled the ball out and got out around him. And with Jackson out here, this man came up to take Jackson to take the pitch away. And after Billings hit this man, he slid off here and blocked the safety, and Gary just goes in standing up, which was beautiful for the whole, and I'm sure that Mal Moore and Bud Moore and them that worked on it so hard thought it was too. Anyway, that was kind of what happened, and nothing happened that they didn't make happen, and it was a real tough football game, as you will see here. We're tremendously proud of them for winning.